Good job, America, because once again we find ourselves on the brink of war. And while my feed is filled with arguments about why we should or shouldn't join the war, talking about political implications or international relations, talking about the corruptions of certain governments, and the rumors of attempted assassination, what I am not seeing talked about is who is actually going to be fighting these wars. Because it won't be him, and it won't be him, and it won't be him. It'll be children. People's children. Kids who were convinced at the age of 18 that this is what they needed to do to save their country. The country that is willing to risk your life, but not theirs. Because that is the reality of war. It's a political game with your life on the line. And yet this reality is constantly neglected. But it is that reality that I have tried to capture in my short story, Amber's Son. I wrote this story for times like this, when war would be debated, but the people whose actual lives were on the line would not be considered. But I hope this story can help you to consider them, to help you understand what is actually at stake. Because it's not politics, it is human lives. Here's a sneak peek of the story. Amber's son was in the middle of a desert in a country he could not locate on a map, nor could he pronounce the name of the country, the people, or the language those people spoke. He hadn't a clue what the war was about or how it started. All he knew was that he was there, in that desert, to protect his countrymen back home. Though what he was protecting them from, he did not know. "Load your guns," said Heather's son to the other boys and girls before they departed camp for their mission through the desert. "Keep your eyes up at all times," he said. "The enemy wants nothing more than to kill you. Don't you ever forget that. The only way to survive is to kill them first." These were the words that echoed through the mind of Amber's son as he crawled through the sand, slithered up and down the dunes, and followed his leader into battle. It was roughly 4 a.m. when Amber's son was finally able to stand. They had reached the camp of the enemy and were ready to attack. They loaded their guns and reviewed once more the plan sent to them from Washington, D.C., the city from which grown men and women ordered children to fight battles on their behalf. They stood in a straight line, looking in at a village still asleep. There were no wrinkles on any of their faces caused yet by the distresses of life. Their uniforms were all loose on their twig-like bodies. Their shoes were all a size or two too big. Their guns were nearly the height of them, and the weight of those guns caused them all to lean back just a bit to keep from falling forward. They were just kids, young and innocent. They were just kids when their captain, Heather's son, yelled attack. They were just kids when they invaded a village filled with other kids just like them. Only the uniforms they wore had different flags stitched into their shoulders, making them their government's enemy, and therefore eternally their enemy. So the next time you find yourself debating on whether or not the US should join a war, ask yourself, would I be willing to lose my child for this? Because most of the time, I bet that answer is no.